Hello, everybody. This is Jared, the non-alcoholic aficionado, and we're going to do a podcast session today with Zane Curtis from San Diego, California. We're going to talk about his new business, have a couple of Go Brewing non-alcoholic beers, and just have a fun conversation. So, with that, we're going to kick things off with the suspended in a Sunbeam Pils. This is the gold medal winning Go Brewing Pilsner, which is one of my favorites. Zane, have you had this one? I think I know the answer because I know you're a Go fan, but what's your take on it?
This is one of the most refreshing and just light drinking beers. I have this one out by the pool all the time with the kids. So this is one of the
Nice.
go-tos. I'm doing the can because I don't want to have to do dishes after this call, but
There you go. I'm a glass guy. I do everything in a glass. It's a bad habit. It leads
all
to
right.
lots of itching.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for the time.
Delicious.
So good.
It's like just a typical Pilsner lager elevated with, the craft goodness to it.
Definitely.
So,
Absolutely.
so Zane, what's the story? I know you've got something cooking on your end.
Yeah.
What's the plan? What's going on?
Well, I decided, I don't know, about 13 weeks ago, I woke up and I said, you know what? San Diego needs something, and San Diego needs something real fast. So I decided I was going to start San Diego's non-alcoholic bottle shop. And so it's just a place, our moniker is drink differently. I feel like everybody kind of has the same things that they want because everybody kind of carries the same thing that's across the country, it's everywhere. And so I really just started thinking we should have something that whether it's you're tired of drinking soda, you're tired of drinking alcohol, you want to take a break, whatever that looks like, just how do we curate some of the best products from around the world and bring them under one roof? And so we're opening up Monday morning, which is bottle shop. Non-alcoholic AF is the big thing we're leaning into, give a little edge to it. So throughout the website and social media, you'll hear things saying AF, and you can infer if that's alcohol free or something else. So yeah, Monday morning. So that's what we're cooking up over here.
Awesome. Well, and I'm guessing you're going to be carrying some Go Brewing beers, among others.
Go is definitely on that list for sure.
Good
Yeah,
deal.
we're curating, like I said, globally. So we're going to be bringing over Mash Gang, we're bringing over Beagle Puss, Go Brewing, Athletic Brewing. There's so many other ones that I can't even mention all of them right now. And
Yep.
then on top of that's going to be the Atmos Brewing out of Idaho as well. We have the spirits coming in. We're bringing a bunch of them over from Europe. We're bringing in some champagne from a chateau in France and all sorts of things. So I'm real excited for what we've been curating over the last few months.
That sounds like fun. As a NA aficionado, as I tag myself, I'm all about trying the new things.
Yep.
As you can tell from my YouTube channel, where I've done over 100 reviews in the past 11 months. So
Yep.
I think someone in San Diego that maybe hasn't had a lot of NA beverages, they're gonna pop in and be like, "Oh, you guys have NA beer?" And you'll be like, "Here's 40. Try,
Correct.
I'll pick out three of them, take them home and have them over the weekend, see what you like, come back in, I'll tell you what to try next." Like that
Yep.
experience is something you'll be able to create for people that maybe are new to this space. And I think that's super cool.
Yeah, and that's the one thing we're excited about too is custom creating 4 packs and 6 packs because I
Yeah.
think one of the challenges that you really have is when you're not sure about a new brand that you want to try, you have to buy a 6 pack and you're committed for a 14, 15, $16 price tag.
Yep.
And then in my own experience, when I first decided to stop drinking alcohol, I was dropping money and then dumping stuff in the sink. And I'm like, I literally am burning money. So I'm really excited for that tasting component where we're going to have tastings throughout the week. And then also where you can just buy an individual can and you can drink it in the shop because we have a community side up about 800 square feet set aside with tables and chairs and all sorts of things like that. So you can just grab a drink and you can sit and you can try it and commit if you want to buy the pack or if you want to mix and match. So I'm really excited for that, guiding people on the tasting, but also letting them
Yeah.
buy one at a time without committing and then not liking it.
Are you gonna have a cooler section with so people can grab and go and like either
Yeah,
take
so
run or go to
we have
the table?
we have two refrigerators. The way the bottle shop's going to work is we rented two buildings side by side. We're cutting out the wall in between the two. So 1,000 square feet is going to be the bottle shop. So that's going to be a lot of just shelving. And then we have fridges on the backside, and one's dedicated to beer. And then the other one's going to be dedicated to wine and ready to drink. So we'll have cold options you can buy and then go into the community side. We'll have a bar there that we're going to use more for like mixology classes on the
Yeah.
weekends, things like that. And then on that other side, you can grab a beer. So if you're on a date and you want to grab a cold bottle of white wine, you can head over there. If you're an expectant mother and you still want to have a wine and you don't want to drink sparkling juice or whatever else, you could rent out the space and have a baby shower over there. So
Oh,
we're just trying to
cool.
create a space that's an additional side.
Yeah.
So buy and go, buy and post up inside. We have some tables and chairs outside as well. So it's just kind of creating that space where you can post up, hang out. I mean, as you and I have talked about, Jared, it's one of the most freeing things that I love about when I can drink non-alcoholic. I can maybe drive with it. I can have it with breakfast. I can do
Yeah.
all sorts of things with it. And there's just no real like negatives to it. So it's just a freeing thing. And I'm really excited to see what it can do for San Diego.
I was at a brewery that had 12 standard beers and one non-alcoholic beer on Monday to celebrate my 5-year no drinking
Nice.
anniversary. And it was great because I had that option. But if I had a similar setting with the community focused, center, so to speak, or like a kind of arena or area, and everybody else was trying out their, maybe their NA first NA beer, and you could talk about it, like, hey, what do you think of that one? I had that one last week when I came in. Like, it's almost like you got like a tap room environment there where people can, bring their cribbage board and play games, or
Yep.
play cards, or set up, like you said, set up events like that. That part of the equation seems really appealing to me if I was a local.
Correct. I mean, you even think too, it's like, I mean, you and I drink these things throughout the day all the time, and that's fine. But to have a place where you want to grab a sandwich and come have a beer while you're doing a call or have a
Yep.
ready to drink, and there's all those different options. So I'm just really excited for that. And especially even with the spirits, because that's another area. I'll give my own example. When I first stopped drinking alcohol, then I went to a store. I won't name names of any place, but I went to a store and there's two different brands of NA whiskey. And I was like, which of the better, what's the better of these two?
Yeah.
Guy walks by, he's like, I don't know, I don't drink non-alcoholic. So I ended up spending $45 on two bottles and dumped
Yeah.
one of them because it was garbage. And so I'm really excited to be able to let people have those tastes to say,
Yep.
I'm looking for this. And it's saying, hey, here's the 6 options we have in store, and
Yep.
letting them taste them and really experience. I just think there's too much education that you can't get from just buying and trying. And
Yep.
then otherwise you're directed on what you can have. And so again, every place carries the same few brands, and it's just really hard to get that experience. So we're excited for what we got going on.
Cool. What's the I guess in terms of next steps, like, are you guys construction phase, opening up soon? Like, what can people expect that are local?
So again, we started this July 5th is when we had this wild idea to get this thing going. So
Yep.
it's been quite the wild ride. We're doing all that we can to open as quick as we can. Again, we're San Diego, California has some challenges to say the least, but we're doing everything we can. We want to try to open in January just to be that landing board for everybody when everybody does dry January. We really want to
Yeah.
be open by then. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, literally knocking down walls. So I can say that metaphorically and physically, but we're knocking down walls and doing everything we can to get open as quick as possible.
One step at a time. You're doing it. You got to do it the right way, so when people show up, they get the full experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mentioned I'm 5 years alcohol free here in September 2024.
That's
Um,
awesome.
what's your story, Zane? What brought you into the world of non-alcoholic beverages?
Well, first off, congrats to go sober right before 2020 and then maintain
Yeah.
sober during that.
Right.
I feel like most people went the opposite direction. So, yeah, my relationship with alcohol has been it was a long time. It was kind of, turning 21 and then on and off, on and off, on and off. And it was after pretty much around the time I had kids, so 10 years ago, started realizing it's just easier when you have kids because then you're not going out as much, you're staying
Yeah.
home, and it just started creeping into like beers a little bit earlier and a little bit longer, and then kept going on, and then COVID hits, and then it's everybody's working from home, and then
Yeah.
just kind of kept evolving into this like, oh, I'll have a beer at lunch, and I'll have another beer after lunch, and then have some wine with dinner, and next thing you know, it just started paying attention to how easy it was for drinks to just creep in. I
Yep.
was never like drunk all day, but it was just like my new normal became drinking all day. And so then it
Yep.
led into like 6 drinks on a day, but it was like two at lunch and then another at 4 and then another, and it just kind of spread on. And so I heard this term from a person I was talking to, and she coined it as gray area drinking. And it's not, you're not rock bottom, you're not in recovery, you're not in AA, but you're just kind of holding back. Something's keeping you from really excelling and really living your life to the fullest. And it just kind of triggered with me a little bit, where I was like, yeah, I think that's the thing. And so June of 2023, I decided I was just going to take the summer off of drinking. And I said, I'm just going to take 3 months and see what it feels like, because I had never really taken any time off of drinking. So I thought, let's just try the hardest time, because living in San Diego, summers are the beach, barbecue, pool parties. Like, it's just a lot of barbecue and beers and hanging out. So I was like, I'm going to try it during the summer. And I started going through the summer, and then I read a book called Planet Walker. It's about a guy that walked for 22 years and took a vow of silence for 17 of those. And during his vow of silence, every year on his birthday, he'd say, do I want to go another year without talking? And so I was reading that book around the time I made the decision. I just thought, I'll try it for a year. Like, if this guy could go without talking for a year, I'll try it for a year. And then the other thing the guy did during the book was he played a banjo as he'd walk the country and not talk. And so I came back after my first weekend of not drinking, and I bought a banjo, and I said I was going to do this for a year. And so I did it for the year, and now I'm on my 15th month now, I guess it is. And I had somebody tell me, once you hit 1 year, they're like, you'll hit a stride at 1 year that you never felt before. And I truly feel like it's like every day I'm unlocking new potential, and it's just this really exciting feeling. So it's been pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Hard, don't get me wrong, but fun.
Yeah. So I actually started my journey in 2017, and I had some health stuff pop up, and I was like, okay, I got to just take this variable out of the equation. It's not helping me. And rode the wave for 2 years, and then I dabbled a little bit, like a couple little, half a drink here, half a drink there, and then life hit me in the face. So I was like, okay, this time we're done. And that was 2019, and that's 5 years now. So would be 7 years, but I count that blip on the radar as it's just enough of a downside to knock it to five. But right, that first year is hard, because it's like you're still doing a lot of the same activities, and that activity without something to replace. Or I mean, I don't know, when you stopped drinking, did you go right to having things like NA beer and cocktails? Or did you?
I relied heavily on Athletic, because they're in
Okay.
San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the king of the kings out here.
Yep.
And so I relied heavily on Athletic, but I think that's some of the overall challenge, and where you and I have talked before, is there's so many quality products out there that it feels limiting at first, right? Where you're like, I don't know. And so you go to the store and you see what you see, and that's it. I mean, every place has, you see what they see. But then as you start poking around, I mean, I have some great friends that just like own breweries and love their craft beers. They try some of this stuff and they're like, this is not alcoholic. And I'm like, I know, like, it's really just that freeing and limiting. So
For sure.
yeah, it's definitely, it's a new era for sure.
Yeah, I didn't tap into NA beer until about 4 years into my sober journey, and then it was like floodgates open. It was like, this is like college, where we were trying all the craft NA beer or craft beers, and in the local brewery scene. But now there's no downside. The only effects of having an NA beer are the calories that you intake and the cost it takes to purchase it. And those two are a heck of a lot better than anything related to drinking the alcoholic version. So it's a win. And now I get to have a celebratory drink, or a celebratory NA beer after a workout, feel good about it, get the carbs replenishing the muscles and getting the hydration. Or, bring them to my parents' house when they're having, their regular, beverages, and I get to, have mine and share with them if they want to try it out, and, kind of, it doesn't feel as awkward as it did when I didn't have something to replace it with. Like work events where you're drinking a Sprite and everybody's throwing down gin and tonics left and right, you feel like you're left out. You feel like you're like alienated. And I feel like as this becomes more normalized, NA beer is going to allow people to feel more comfortable and get into more social scenarios that maybe they retracted from when they were, feeling left out. So I'm really excited that people like you are doing this work to open the door to people that maybe just don't drink that much, and they don't know what else is out there. So I think it's perfect timing.
Well, and like you're saying too, I think it's also what I really like is, because there's people like you and myself, right, that realize there's a limitation of alcohol, and so we just couldn't do it. That's fine. But there's still people that can healthily handle their alcohol, and I respect that. My wife still drinks her wine. I mean, it's one of those things. But where the quality is so great, that's the fun thing is it's really enjoyable for me to even for people that are like beer snobs, right? Because everybody
Yep.
has that beer snob friend. You're like, try this. It's a blueberry pancake from Mash Gang, and they're like,
Yeah.
it's a what? And just those things where people are like, that's it, like, and it's just hence why we came up with the drink differently. Is
Yeah.
not everything is like replacing. You don't have to replace, but sometimes you just want a flavorful drink. And there's a ton of good options out there. And that's what's
Yeah.
really fun is that people are doing some really creative and fun. I mean, it was the first time I saw, there we go,
This one,
uh,
the
street cred.
porter.
Yep. But the first time I heard from somebody, they're like, oh, pour this non-alcoholic beer on ice. And I was like, what? And like the rules go out of the window all of a sudden with non-alcoholic, and it's just game changer. This one, Joe at Go, you outdid yourself on this one right
Oh
here.
yeah.
So this is hands down one of the best. Just the vanilla at the end is delicious.
Yep, it's a good one. And they, I don't know if you knew, but they had a street cred previously, and they revamped the formula in August of 2024. And the
Okay.
difference they made with that was just top notch. It became a totally new animal. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I can't replace it fast enough.
Yeah. It's out of stock right now on the site, so I hope you got some on hand.
Well, I would have my big order because as we're getting ready to get their
Oh
fridges and
yeah.
everything and start doing that, I'm trying to time when things come versus when we're ready for inventory. And so I had my whole cart set up and ready. And then the other day it was like out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. I'm like
Oh no.
Gab is out, Cred is out, and I was like, man, alive. Like I waited just too long to place my order. So now I got to sit and I just keep clicking refresh. Like, where are they? Where are they? Come on.
Yeah.
So I know they'll come, but
I need the sour right now because I've been doing my Go Brewing retail ambassador visits, and I did 5 locations on Tuesday a couple days ago, and
yeah,
I only had 3 sours, so I had to like explain what it was like to the other people. But the Sunshine State and the double IPA
yep,
are hitting hard here in Minnesota with the people that are willing to take the chance and try them out. So
yeah.
I'm excited
Well,
to see that it continues to go and get more people asking about it. And as they try it at a Top Golf, maybe they go to their local bar or grill, and they're like, hey, I had this at Top Golf. Do you guys have it? And like, oh no, this guy just reached out to me about it. Maybe I'll call him back. Then they
yep.
start coming to Go. They start coming to you. They start coming to whoever. And then it just compounds and snowballs. Like that's the future I see over the next few years happening.
Yeah, and the thing that Go's done a really good job of is like we talked about at a different time is the like just their art on their cans.
Yeah,
I mean, these
for
things
sure.
pop. Like the first time I got a box, it's just a standard box, and you open it up, and next thing you know, these cans come out, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa. And it's
You
like when
wouldn't
like the
expect
book,
it.
it's like when the cover of a book, is just like great, like the paper feels good, and then you start reading, you're like, that's just a solid book. Like same thing here. You're like, the can looks good, it tastes really good, and you're like, that's just a solid NA like beer. So
Yeah.
just yeah, I've been very pleased with them.
Yep. Yeah, there's something to be said about a real true craft NA beer. And I know there's others out there like
Yep.
Mash Gang and Beagle Puss and plenty of others, but like you put something like that side by side with something that's a little bit more muted, and the difference is huge. And like the
Yep.
folks that maybe haven't had that elevated version of an NA beer, they'll kind of come at you, be like, oh, it doesn't taste good. It's like, hey, we'll try this one, and
Exactly.
it's a game changer. So
Yeah.
totally get it. And I think that
Yeah.
with the experience you're able to create with your venue at Monday morning is like you get to have you can curate it, like you said, with the stuff that is truly delicious. You don't
Yep.
have to have stuff that people might not like, and they might not like at all. But if you've got 30 of the best offerings out there, let's say, and someone likes half of those varieties, they might walk away with over the next 3 months, they might try those 15 beers, and they might find their favorites. Like, you never know.
Yep. And that's one thing we're gonna be doing at the shop too, is we really want to create more of that seasonality because
Oh
I don't
yeah.
want to be the place that it just feels dusty on your eighth visit when you come in. It's always the same stuff and it always
Yep.
feels the same. So we're purposely looking at what can we do in a 3-month rotation. We'll still have the baseline. If things are selling well, we'll keep buying them and keeping them on the shelf. But during winter time, having more of those the heavier ones, more of the stouts and porters and some of those
Yep.
things. During summertime, leaning more into the light and refreshing and crisp and trying to find those seasonalities that go along with them. to really make it that when every time you come in, there's just a variety and it's new and it
Yep.
feels fresh. So that's one thing we want to make sure people keep coming back for is just, oh, you like this one, great. Try this other one when the time comes, and then again, we'll keep tabs on everything that's selling, see what people like, and then keep it. Yeah,
Definitely. Well, Zane, I know we didn't get too deep into the street cred, but
yeah,
super excited to hear about the business opening up soon. Folks that are local and the ones that are, maybe a little bit of a hike away, making an experience to stop by and test things out and stock up. So I think you got a good thing going. I'm excited to see what it's like. Maybe I'll swing down to San Diego one of these days and
have to.
see what it's all about. But any parting words you want to give to people that are watching to the end here?
No, I think I want to salute everybody that's doing the NA production. There's a lot of great people out there, a lot of
Yep.
people coming into the scenes. It's just a really exciting time. I mean, you can see the wave, you can see the horizon coming of just a lot of possibilities. And so
Yep.
kudos to everybody. Jared, to you bringing awareness. I love your videos where you help highlight because you help me know where to buy a little more and where to buy a little less and kind of that ebb and flow. So your expertise has been really helpful as well. So appreciate that. And just,
Yeah.
yeah, check out Monday morning. It's Monday morning AF because, alcohol free again, AF, but excited to get out there. We'll have some membership things going on. We'll be doing all
Cool.
sorts of other fun stuff. So keep checking us out as we keep evolving.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on, Zane. Thanks for
All right.
everybody that watched today. Thank you to
Cheers.
subscribers. Subscribe and cheers.